Hello and welcome to today's math lesson. Before we start our lesson, let's make sure we have all equipment ready. Pen, green pen and some paper. Here you can see your 6 starter questions. Pause the video for 10 minutes, have a go with all 6 questions and start the video again. Now change to green pen and self-mark it. I'll quickly go through the answers. In first question, it asks you to round to nearest integer. If you round into nearest integer, you straight look at the number straight after decimal point. The number straight after decimal point is 4. So if it's 5 or above, you round up. If it's less than 4, you keep the number as it is. So you keep 36 as it is. Then you have 36 to the power of 2. To the power of 2 means you not times the number by itself. So it's 36 times by another 36. You use your column multiplication to do that. Second question is asked for the first 6 multiple of 13. The multiple of is the same as times table. So 13 times 1, 13 times 2, 13 times 3, 13 times 4, 13 times 5, and 13 times 6. If you don't know what is the 13 times, for example, 6, you use the column multiplication to find the answers. Question C. In question C, you find the highest common factors of 9 and 36. So the first step is to list the factors of 9 and the second step to list the factors of 36. Factors are two numbers. If I times together, I get 9. So I have 1 and 9, 3 and 3. So if I list the factors of 9, I get 1, 3 and 9. Same for 36. If I want to list the factors of 36, I have 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, and 4 and 9. When you list all the factors, make sure you write them in order. In here, you don't say the answer in order, but make sure if you want to compare them, write them in order. Then find which one is in common and which one is the highest one. In this case, the highest one that is in common is 9. So highest common factor between 9 and 36 is 9. Question D is asking for sum of the prime number between 30 and 40. So the first step, you need to find the prime numbers between 30 and 40. The only numbers, prime numbers between 30 and 40 is 31 and 37. You find those numbers, then sum means addition. So you add 31 and 37, which your answer is 68. Question E, you finding the area of rectangle. If you remember, the area of rectangle was length times by width. So you have 7 times 8, which is 56 centimeters squared. Always area is unit squared. And last question, you find in the area of triangle. In the area of triangle, always you times base by perpendicular height, then you divide your answer by 2. So base in here is 5, perpendicular height is 6. So you do 5 times 6, which is 30, and you divide it by 2, which is 15 centimeters squared. Very well done if you manage to do all of them right. In today's lesson, you will know how to estimate area and perimeter. So first step, you need to know how to estimate, and then how to estimate area, and then at the end, how to estimate the perimeter. You learned before how to estimate, how to round, but just quickly to remind you again how to estimate or round. If you read the question, you can get the question to give you this information and ask you to find the area and perimeter. So if they just ask you to evaluate or work out the area or perimeter, you're straight gonna use the same number in here. You're gonna use this exact number in here. But if you got the question, they ask you to estimate or round the numbers, then find the area and perimeter. You have to estimate and round, otherwise you're not going to get the whole mark. So in this case, the question telling me by rounding to nearest integer, estimate. So you can see you estimating, you're not finding the exact value, you estimating your answers. So in estimation, they'll tell you what do you need to estimate. So in here, they say rounding to nearest integer. So I know that I need to round every single of these numbers to nearest integer. Let's start with 7.6. If I round 7.6 to nearest integer, what do I get? To round into nearest integer, you look the number, the digit straight after decimal point. In here, I have 6. So 6 is 5 or above, is more than 5. So I need to round 7 up. So 7.6 is to nearest integer. If I round it to nearest integer, is closer to 8. So which means the length of that rectangle is been rounded to 8. I have 8 in here and the other side is the same as well. So now let's round 3.4 to nearest integer. Again, you look the number straight after decimal point, which is 4, is less than 5. So I keep 3 as it is, which means 3.4 to round to nearest integer is more closer to 3. You have 3 this side and the other side of rectangle is the same, so you have 3 this side as well. Now, first question asking me to find the area of the shape. If I want to find the area of rectangle, if you remember, you need to use the formula. Formula of area of triangle was width times length, or length times width. So I need to do 3 times 8. So if I do 3 times 8, I get 24 centimeter squared is the unit for area. So I found the area. The second part of question was asking me to find the perimeter of the shape. If you remember, for any shape, if you're finding perimeter, you start from one point and go all around the shape and add everything. So in here, for perimeter, I go around the shape, add 8, add 3, add another 8, add another 3. Make sure you use the number that you rounded because the question asking you for estimate. So if you add these numbers, you get 22 centimeter. Make sure the unit for perimeter stay as it is. So now pause the video and have a go with the video question. In a video question, we do exactly the same because the question is asking for rounding and for estimation. You need to round every single number to nearest integer, but the same as what question asking you. So if I round 7.4 to nearest integer, as I said, I look the number straight after decimal point is 4 is less than 5, so I keep 7 as it is. So if I round 7.4 to nearest integer, my answer is going to be 7. So I have 7 in here and the other side. Same for 2.5. You look straight, if you round it to nearest integer, you look the number straight after decimal point, which is 5 in this case. So if it's 5 or above, I round 2 up. So if I round 2 up, I get 3. So 2.5 is closer to 3 as the nearest integer. So both sides I have 3. Now if I want to find the area, I do length times width. So I do 7 times 3, which is 21 centimeter squared for area. Now for perimeter, you start from one point, go all around the shape, add up everything. So if I do so, I have 7 plus 3 plus 7 plus another 3. So perimeter going to be 20 centimeter. Don't forget about the unit. For perimeter, the unit stay the same. For area, you have unit squared. Now let's look at the different examples. Again, the question asking me to round to nearest integer and estimate the area and perimeter. So we need to make sure we read the question carefully. Now again in here, if I want to round 2.5 to nearest integer, I straight look the number straight after decimal point, which is 5. If it's 5 or above, which it is, you round 2 up. So 2.5 rounding to nearest integer is 3. If I do the same things for this side, I have 6.05. I look the number straight after decimal point, which is 0. So if it's less than 5, which it is, you keep 6 as it is. So 6.05 rounding to nearest integer is 6, and make sure you use this estimation sign, which means it's not exactly equal and it's been rounded. So now that I have the lengths and widths, I know how to find the area. To find the area of rectangle, you times length and width. So if I do so, I have 3 times 6, which is 18 centimeters square. So I found the area. Now I need to find the perimeter. Make sure for perimeter you go around, add up all the lengths. So you have 3 plus 6 plus 3 plus another 6. If you do that, you get 18 centimeter for perimeter. Now pause the video and have a go with the video question. Now you do the same things with the video question. You need to round every single of those lengths. So if you round 6.05, which is the same as what I've done, is going to be rounded to 6 as the nearest integer. If you round 5.49, then the digit straight after decimal point is 4, so you keep 5. So 5.49 rounded to nearest integer going to be 5. Now I have length and width both. So for finding the area of rectangle, I times length and width. So I get 30 centimeters squared for area, and for perimeter I go around the shape, add up everything, so I get 22 centimeters for perimeter. Very well done if you manage to do this one right. Now in here again the question asking me to round to nearest integer and estimate the area and perimeter. So I have the same question but different shape. In here I have a triangle, but we have the same principle. If I'm rounding to nearest integer, I have to round every single number that I'm using for area and perimeter to nearest integer. So if I round every single of them, for example in here 5.1, rounding to nearest integer going to be 5. Same for 5.4, going to be 5, and for 3.75, because a digit after decimal point is 7, is more than 5 before 5 or above, so I round 3 up, so I get 4. So these are the numbers that been rounded to. Now for finding the area, as I said before in the previous videos, when you're finding the area of the shape, you need to know the formula of the area of that shape. So in here we have triangle, so we need to make sure we remember the formula for area of triangle, which was base times perpendicular height divided by 2. So I need to make sure I know which one is base and which one is perpendicular height. In here, those lengths that make the angle of 90 degree right angle, those are base and perpendicular height. So in here, this is the perpendicular height and this is base. As you can see, these two lengths make the angle of 90 degree. So I use 4 times 5, then divide by 2 for area of triangle. So 4 times 5 is 20, divide by 2 is 10 centimeters squared. That's the area of this shape. Now for perimeter, if you remember, for perimeter, we don't have any specific formula for perimeter. Doesn't matter what kind of shape we have. For perimeter, always you start from one corner, go around the shape and add up everything. So in this case, for perimeter, I'm not looking at this number in here because that was just perpendicular height. So for perimeter, I'll start from this corner, add 5, add 5, and add 1, 4. So I add only 3 numbers because those are the around the shape. So the perimeter of this triangle going to be 14 centimeter. So make sure for area you look for perpendicular height and the base, and for perimeter you just go around the shape and use those numbers that are around the shape. Now pause the video and have a go with the video question. Now for video question, as we said, when the question asking you to round to nearest integer, the first thing that you do, you round all the numbers to nearest integer. So if you round all the numbers to nearest integer, that's what you get. 2.7, a number after decimal point is 7, is more than 5, so I round 2 up, so you get 3. 5.4, 4 is less than 5, so you keep that as it is, so it's going to be rounded to 5. 3.75, so 7 is the number straight after decimal point, so I need to round 3 up, so I get 4. 2.49, so the digit straight after decimal point is 4, so I is less than 5, so I keep 2 as it is. So these numbers being rounded to 3, 5, 4, and 2. Now I need to find the area of that triangle. For area of triangle, as I said, you need to look at the formula, which was base times perpendicular height. So you need to make sure which one is perpendicular height and which one is base. In this case, this line in here, this vertical one, is the perpendicular height, which is this one, which is 2, and this length in here is base. So I need to use this line, this length, which is been rounded to 4. So I'm dealing with 2 and 4. So for area of triangle, base times height divide by 2. So base was 4 times by perpendicular height, which was 2, which is 8. Then you divide by 2, which is 4 centimeters square. Now for perimeter, you start from one point, go around the shape and add up everything. Make sure when you're going around the shape and add up everything, you don't look at that perpendicular height, you just go around the shape and add up all the lengths that you have. But make sure you're using the estimates number. So if I do so, I have 4 add 3, so I have 4 from here, add 3 and add 5. So if I do that, I get 12 centimeter for perimeter. Well done if you managed to do this one right. And here we have more examples on triangles. Again, question rounding to nearest integer, finding the area and perimeter. So the first step was to round every single of those lengths to nearest integer. So if you do so, 4.5 round to 5, because the number, the digit after decimal point is 5, so you round 4 up, which you get 5. Then for 4.09, so the digit straight after decimal point is 0, so I keep 4 as it is. And next one, 3.75, so the digit straight after decimal point is 7, is more than 5, so I round this one up, so you get 4. And for area, as we said, base times perpendicular height. So base was 4, perpendicular height is 4 as well. So 4 times 4 is 16. You divide 16 by 2, you get 8 centimeters squared. Now for perimeter, start from one corner, go around the shape, add up everything that you have around the shape. So if you do so, you get 5 plus 5 plus 4, which is 14 centimeter. Now pause the video and have a go with video question. Now again, round everything to nearest integer. If you round everything to nearest integer, so for 4.5, this digit after decimal point is 5, so you round this one up, so you get 5. A digit straight after decimal point is 2, is less than 5, so you keep 7 as it is. A digit after decimal point is 7, is more than 5, so you round this one up. A digit straight after decimal point, which is 8, is more than 5, so you round this one up. So I rounded all the numbers, all the lengths to nearest integer. Now I need to find the area. For area, as I said, perpendicular height times by base, divide by 2. So which is 4 times 4, which is 16, divided by 2 is 8 centimeters square. For perimeter, start from one corner, go around the shape, add and add them all up. So if I go around the shape, I have 4 from here, I use the estimation. I have 5 from here and I have 7 from there. So I need to add these numbers to get 16 centimeter for perimeter. Now here you can see 6 more questions for you to practice. The same rectangles and triangles, but just make sure you round into nearest integer in each case and you're finding the estimate for area and perimeter. Pause the video, have a go with all questions, then start the video again. Here you can see all the answers for the question. Change to green pen and self-mark it. In each case, you can see what the length has been rounded to and what is the estimation for area and perimeter. Make sure you look for right units, right answers, and hopefully you manage to do all of them right. This is the end of the lesson. When you finished, take a photo of your work and send it to your class teacher. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Stay safe and have a good day.